This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, I'm sure, like me, you've had times when you've felt uncertain about where you are going in this great big thing called life, how to navigate it, or just why you keep repeating the same silly behaviors again and again. The fact is, sometimes we're faced with tough choices, and the path forward isn't always particularly clear. When friends' advice may no longer be enough and you need a fresh outsider perspective from someone who knows what they're talking about. Whether you're dealing with decisions around your career, relationships, or anything else really, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life, so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values is like anything. The more you practice, the easier it gets. I was skeptical about therapy. In New Zealand, we're a little less open about it than in America, but since starting it in earnest, I've found it to be incredibly helpful. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch at any time for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bird today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bird. I'm David Farrier, a New Zealander accidentally marooned here in America, and I want to figure out what makes this country tick. Growing up in New Zealand, most of what I absorbed about American life came from American TV and American movies. But there was nothing more weird and alien to me than watching American kids eating their American lunch at the American school cafeteria.
Ugh, Salisbury soup again? My Joe isn't sloppy enough.
And talk about weak coffee.
When I was growing up in New Zealand, there was no school cafeteria. You'd bring a packed lunch to school with you in your school bag. We didn't have school lockers either, so your bag would be as heavy as a St. Bernard dog because it would be filled to the brim with textbooks and your school lunch. Come lunchtime, there's no school cafeteria, so kids just go outside and sit under a tree to eat the food they've brought from home. There were no tables of freaks or geeks or jocks because there were no tables. Because there was no high school cafeteria. I wanted to learn what it's like for American school kids, because over 30 million of them a year are fed at the school cafeteria. To learn how all this works, I'd have to go to a high school cafeteria to witness the feeding frenzy firsthand. So, grab your tray and hope the lunch lady is serving up something delicious, because this is the school cafeteria episode.
Flightless bird touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird touchdown in America.
Morning, Monica.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
God, you don't sound convinced.
Well, I have high cholesterol.
How high? Too high.
Skyrocket.
You're sucking back a green smoothie over there right now.
It's bad. I mean,
Right.
I'm trying to be so healthy.
Yeah.
But I have a problem because I'm going to Houston's tonight.
And that isn't the healthiest
It's the
food.
best.
Yeah, best food.
Best food in the whole world.
Absolutely. But maybe not good for the cholesterol. Just pack that smoothie in your handbag, take it in,
Drink.
suck it back in there.
Never.
That's
never.
That's your life now.
That is
That's
it.
your life.
I'd rather have a heart attack and die. I said it. I'd rather have a heart attack and die than not go to Houston's.
Yeah, okay.
Or not eat at Houston's. I'm just saying that. And you've also had a rough weekend.
Yeah, we have both had health problems. My back, there's some disc issue going on. As I sit here right now, I'm on muscle relaxants and tramadol. And I'm actually feeling sweaty and quite gross. So if I seem a bit out of it, I'm on all these drugs.
Yes.
So Dax is revving up this really big buggy outside right now. Sometimes I think he's pranking us because he knows we're recording and he's like, I'm going to test this big buggy right outside the attic.
Oh,
But my point is, I'm like on all these drugs right now and I'm like, I'm so sweaty. It's disgusting. It's my body's really going through it at the moment. And I'm sit up like this in this position.
I'm so sorry. You do look really uncomfortable. Maybe we should put something.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, honestly, I'm perked up. I'm just
Look,
giving you the background.
Rob
So if
is-
you're like, I'm looking a bit sickly, that's why.
Rob is setting you up a really nice,
Back
cushiony
pain.
back.
That was really
pad.
kind, Rob.
Oh,
you.
yuck. There's gross stuff under the cushion.
Oh, that is absolutely foul under there. Okay,
Well,
so
I'm
we're
sorry
both
that
we've both got
happened.
issues, but it's okay. We power on.
Oh, my. We power on ding, ding, ding. He did
Rev,
that
rev,
for
rev.
that
That
joke.
was really good. What was your school lunch experience like?
Oh, man.
Take me through it.
Okay. Well, first, before we begin that, can I ask, what happened in New Zealand if someone couldn't afford to bring their own lunch? Because there's school lunch programs in
Yeah.
the U.S. Do they have that?
Yeah, well, no, in New Zealand, they do now, but
Okay.
they're not funded very well. But it's much better now than it was when I was at school. But it was a problem in New Zealand because kids would come to school without
no
lunch
food.
and they'd just be hungry. And when you're hungry, you obviously don't learn as well because you're
Yeah.
just thinking, I'm really hungry all the time.
Well, also, I think also more, you don't have nutrients.
No,
to
and no
fuel your
nutrients to
brain.
operate your brain.
Yeah.
So some kids would have really fancy lunches and you'd look at them and be like, oh my God, and everyone would trade.
Yeah.
Sometimes bullies would steal the nerds' lunches if they
Baddies.
had really good lunches.
Yeah.
But this whole idea of arriving at school and the school feeding you, when I was at school, which was a very long time ago, was just a whole foreign concept to me.
Wow.
And still, there'll be school lunch programs, but it's not like you walk into a cafeteria where you form a line and they're serving up food to
So
you.
what do? They give you a
A
brown
little
bag?
bag. A little brown bag of food.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the cafeteria is where all the shit goes down. I mean, that is where the fights happen. That's where the gossip happens. That's where boyfriends ask girlfriends out and girlfriends ask boyfriends out and girlfriends ask girlfriends out and boyfriends ask boyfriends out. And there's cliques. There are
Yeah.
tables. There's cool tables. There's not so cool tables.
What was the consistency of your table when you would
I
sit
was
down?
at a cool table.
Were you on the cool table? That's so nice.
Well, I was a scholar athlete.
Okay. Your face when you said that. That sounds, I don't really know what that is, but it sounds really good.
There are cliques and groups in high school,
Yeah.
and there's straight up popular. Then there's nerd, I guess, and there's burnout. This is all speaking very generically.
No, we have to speak generically about this.
There's kids who drool.
Yeah.
There.
There's the jocks.
Yeah. No. The jocks
What?
are mainly in the popular.
Oh, they're in the popular category. Right.
But then there is a niche category
Yeah.
that we called scholar athletes, which essentially.
So you made this up. This is a made up thing.
No, don't you kind of get what I mean?
A bit. I mean, it depends on the high.
Rob's trying.
Like elementary school cafeteria was different.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm
You're
talking
saying-
in high school, middle school, high school time when you're really coming into your own. Elementary school, that we can't
Yeah,
even.
you're
That's
saying
like,
with like your class.
yeah, and that's like you bring a thermos.
Right.
You know, once you're in high school, you're not bringing a thermos anymore.
Okay. What was your table? Where were you, Rob?
I was always in the art room doing stuff during lunch. I'd bring my food in there and
Making podcasts.
like work on stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't
right.
sit in the cafeteria?
No.
We didn't have that option. You couldn't go somewhere else for lunch. You had,
to be in the cafeteria.
cafeteria.
Did you have
you-
off-campus lunch ever?
No, that would be considered skipping.
Oh, because we had junior and senior year. We're allowed off-campus lunch
Oh, fuck. No, we
What,
didn't
you go to
have that.
McDonald's or something?
or Arby's.
Beef and cheddar.
What kind of food did you get? Was your school good or bad?
Well, because I wanted to blend so badly,
Yeah.
I had a major phobia of walking around with a tray. To me, that's
It's a recipe for disaster.
It is.
Someone will trip you. Or I've seen prison movies. Yeah.
exactly. And then everyone stares at you and laughs, and you're the butt of the joke for the rest of your high school. You can't move
Oh,
forward
once
from
that's
that.
happened once, you're
That's
socially
the end.
out. Yeah.
And so I always brought my lunch for that reason.
Ah,
Yes, I never wanted to be the person who bought lunch.
right.
Except then in my senior year, we ended up having these salads. It was this weird.
That's healthy. It's very forward thinking.
They were like
Michelle
these
Obama would
little-
approve.
She would.
Yeah.
There were these little cups with basically shredded lettuce and like those stupid shredded carrots that aren't
Stupid shredded
They're like
carrots.
not real
Yeah, horrible.
carrots.
Yeah.
And then ranch or whatever. And for some reason, we all got into that for a bit. But let me go back to scholar athlete because it is critical. Scholar athletes were popular. But there was a crossover. We were both popular, but also in good classes.
Right.
And normally we played a sport. That's why.
Oh,
it's
so you
athlete.
so you covered the coolness and the sport and the academia.
Exactly. So it's kind of its own niche. Like, I didn't sit with the regular popular kids, but all those kids were my friends.
Oh, so you were like a beautiful intermediary between all of those sort of groups in a way.
I worked really hard
the best
at
of all
it.
the worlds.
I had to put in a lot
It'd
of
be
effort.
stressful every day.
It was
Oh my
stressful.
God.
And this is what you have to do if you want to blend in. You have to not buy lunch. You have to be on your toes at all times, a risk of getting tripped, metaphorically and literally.
It's a war zone at school. One event can change the rest of your year so easily. It is chaotic. I mean, I was a huge nerd at school. I had braces. I had really bad glasses. I had pimples.
What age did you have braces?
I had braces when I was 15, 16,
Oh, wow. That's
17.
late.
Yeah, so it was
Oh.
late. Yeah,
Okay.
so I was one of those kids that went on Roaccutane, which was that pimple medication, which like completely wrecks your entire body, and I'll probably drop dead when I'm 50 or something. But it got rid of the pimples, which is good.
Yeah.
But I was a huge, I wasn't a librarian. I was the nerdier level up where I was called a computer monitor. And it was my job to look after the computer rooms and make sure all the computers were running and all the kids were
During lunch?
looked after. Oh, no, just in general. I'm just saying, but a lot of lunchtimes I was in the computer room.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yeah, because we didn't have cafeterias.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we would go off to the art room or the computer
that's
room
so
or whatever.
Weird. And did
or climb a tree or whatever.
Did everyone at the whole school have lunch at the same time?
Yes.
So that was a different, my school was huge.
Oh, so you'd stagger.
We had, there was A, B, C, and D lunch.
Oh, my God.
That was mine. There was 3 lunch periods.
Yeah. And they were quick. We had
Yeah,
like
right.
20 minutes or something for lunch, which is now in retrospect is not enough time.
It's such a different experience that we had.
Your lunch period was shorter than your regular period?
I think. Or
'Cause
that
ours were
doesn't
just
really
the
make
same.
sense,
Yeah.
does it?
No.
Fuck. Man, I
lunches.
forget stuff. Should
It's
I
a long
ask
time
my friend
ago.
Callie?
Ask Kelly.
Let's call her. Because Callie understands the tray issue.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, you're on air.
Oh, okay.
You're on Flightless Bird. David, say hi to Callie.
Hi.
And Rob.
Hi, David.
Hello.
Hi, Rob.
Okay, so we are doing an episode on American
Okay.
lunchrooms. So I had to call
Okay.
you because
Okay.
you remember it well, I'm sure. One thing I need to clarify, how long was our lunch period?
I think it was very short. I think it was like 20 minutes.
That's what
Maybe they-
I said.
Maybe they had like
Yeah.
2 lunch periods per
But
regular
then
period.
Rob made
That's
a
not long
good
enough.
point that doesn't make sense. Since they were staggered, wouldn't it have been the same amount as a normal period? Because how would they have done this?
We had lunch and then we had a longer class that had homeroom in it, study hall or something. But it definitely wasn't the length of a full class.
Okay.
It was definitely shorter for us in our structure. But yeah, I don't remember why.
I
it was
know.
like that.
The memories are fading. Now, what is your biggest memory of the lunchroom?
The food fights.
Food fights. Food fights. Okay.
Naughty.
My biggest memory involves Callie.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Remember when you had a contest in the lunchroom? Well,
Yes, I do.
Callie eats, let's preface, really fast. All of a sudden, you look over, the whole lunch is gone. And she challenged this nice boy. He was annoying. He was annoying at the time, but now he's a very nice adult man, I think.
So weird.
He said he could eat faster than Callie. So there was a whole lunch dedicated at the end of the week to them having a eating contest. And what did you have to eat again?
We had to eat sub sandwiches.
Sub sandwiches. And how did it go?
I lost miserably.
Oh, no.
And you blamed
So
it on
bad.
something, though.
Well, I don't like mayonnaise, and his was covered in mayonnaise. And so I felt like he had an unfair advantage with
The mayonnaise.
the mayonnaise lubrication.
Yeah. So these are the types of things that go down in the American cafeteria. I just wanted to bring you in as a fellow cafeteria mate, but also, do you think it's right to classify us as scholar athletes?
You? Yes. Me? No.
Yes, you were.
No way. But you? Yes, definitely.
Okay, that's really all I need to hear.
Okay. Needed that little validation. Okay, good. Anytime.
All right, love you.
Thank you,
Love
Kelly.
you. Bye.
Bye.
20 minutes. Your memory was
I
correct.
was right.
So lunch for us, we had an hour and you'd get your lunch in as quickly as you could and then go and play a game of sport. That wasn't me. I was straight to the computer room.
And what did you do at the computer room during lunch? You play games?
Just in like Microsoft Excel, making spreadsheets and stuff, trying to learn how to code. And it was real nerdy stuff.
Do you know how to code?
I did back then.
But you don't.
It's all gone now. Yeah, I used to be a real super nerd back then. I was building computers from the motherboard up.
What were you coding?
Coding. I was in C, C++.
Websites,
No,
programs?
just like software. I thought I was going to be a computer programmer when I grew up. So I was trying to get into all that stuff. But I was terrible at it, but I really tried.
Oh.
Anyway, for this documentary, I decided to go behind the scenes of a school cafeteria. And actually, Rob's friend hooked me up with this when we meet her in the episode.
Oh my gosh. And this is like a never been kissed situation where you pretended to be a high
I
schooler.
thought about it, but I also thought the creepy factor would be quite bad in that. That movie has aged quite badly.
That's right.
So no, I just went in as me.
Okay.
But I will say, of all the episodes I've done, I found talking to high school kids the most nerve-wracking. I felt the most nervous. You know, we've met some sort of big, baseball sort of stars and stuff on the show, and I felt more nervous talking to these kids.
Oh my God. It was like you had entered
like
this old environment where you felt insecure.
I was the nerd again.
Yeah, you
I
felt
had
like
those
the nerd.
braces, I had the pimples, I had the glasses, and I felt it. And I felt that they saw right through.
Oh.
And they did. Anyway, here we go.
I'm excited.
It was 7 a.m. on a Monday morning, and I had somewhere to be. A town called Hemet, to be exact, population 90,000, situated in the San Jacinto Valley in Riverside County, California. As well as being home to the international headquarters of Scientology, a secretive fortress known as the Goals Base, Hemet is also home to 23,000 school kids. And in less than 5 hours, they'd be eating lunch.
Hi, my name is Kate Kloet. I'm Assistant Director of Nutrition Services for Hemet Unified School District.
After a 2-hour drive and a Starbucks coffee later, I'd arrived at a sprawling warehouse with Eat Fresh Express emblazoned onto the side. Kate is in charge of getting food to 26 schools and feeding about 23,000 students. She's a registered dietitian and plans out all the menus. But school lunches have been around far before Kate came onto the scene. Back in the 1800s, certain schools in Boston and Philadelphia provided lunches for kids thanks to volunteers and charities. But it was the arrival of a giant war that saw school lunches become official in the USA. And with it, the arrival of the cafeteria.
It's been around for a very long time, but it has definitely evolved. And around the 1940s, that's when they had the School Nutrition Act. It was around World War II when the government was like, hey, all these really nutrition-deprived people are trying to go into the army, and they knew that they had to start feeding their kids better. And then also they were like, hey, this is great because we can start promoting some of our domestic agriculture as well through the school food system.
And has the food gotten better over that time?
Some would say that it hasn't. It's gotten a lot more strict. Michelle Obama, she's the one that really kind of reformed a lot of the nutrition standards.
But I am thrilled to be here with all of you today as my husband signs the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act into law.
Back in 2010, Michelle Obama stood radiantly next to her husband as he signed the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. Suddenly, vending machine snacks and cans of Coke were under federal regulation, and school lunches were set to become a lot more healthy.
We can all agree that in the wealthiest nation on earth, all children should have the basic nutrition they need to learn and grow and to pursue their dreams. Because in the end, nothing is more important than the health and well-being of our children, nothing. And our hopes for their future should drive every single decision that we make.
Decisions like making sure school cafeterias had fruit and vegetables, and that whole grain bread replaced white bread. The good old days of sodium, sugar, and fat were over.
I mean, it was kind of the Wild West. You could pretty much serve soda, fried foods. There wasn't a lot of guidance there.
When those reforms came through, were kids happy about that? Or was it like, oh, we like all this terrible junk food, we don't want to eat healthily?
I think the adults like it a lot better than the kids do. And it did take a couple years for manufacturers to kind of adjust the formulas for a lot of the food that we serve in the schools to fit those nutrition standards. Everything has to be whole grain. We have to cut back on sodium, sugar. The first couple years after the standards got put into place, the food wasn't as good, but it's really gotten a lot better.
Kate and I are briefly interrupted by a colleague who needs to discuss some new cardboard trays, as well as new packages for the sandwiches. There's a lot to think about when it comes to school cafeterias. And are kids generally embracing the school lunch, or do you get some kids that, like in New Zealand, would pack their lunch at home and like bring it in with them to eat? Does that ever happen?
People do still pack their lunch. So we have 23,000 students and we feed about 22,000 altogether, but that includes breakfast, lunch, and supper. So we serve all three of those. So we're doing about 22,000 meals a day.
Kate leads me out of her office and hands me a hairnet, which I struggle with for quite a while as I've never worn a hairnet before. Then she opens a door and we walk into a giant industrial kitchen where school meals are being prepared for the week.
Our staff starts at 5 a.m. and they start making stuff at 5 a.m. to go out to all of our schools.
There are trays and trays of muffins in front of me and a woman shoving a thermometer into one of them to check the temperature. So just explain what I'm seeing here.
This is our central kitchen, and not every district has a central kitchen. Our district is lucky enough to have one. And we can do a lot more freshly baked items. And
it smells good in here.
Yes, so today they are making a blueberry pancake bowl, a breakfast item, and then you can see that they're wrapping it. We make really awesome double chocolate chip muffins here. We make our own Kaiser rolls, biscuits.
I find the word biscuit confusing in America. Back home, a biscuit is a cookie, like a chocolate chip cookie. Here in America, it's an uninspired dry scone.
And then we're also known for our pizza. On Mondays, we don't do pizzas because that's when the dough is thawing, but we do about 250 pizzas Tuesday through Friday. And then they transport it to our schools, fresh baked.
About 30 staff work here in the kitchen in Hemet, preparing a variety of meals that will then be delivered to a variety of schools. No, it's like a full industrial kitchen going on. This thing's huge.
These are big mixers where we do our muffin dough. We have these things called peanut butter pals, which are pretty much like a giant peanut butter cookie for breakfast. These are giant mixers for our pizza dough. They hold up to, I believe, like 400 pounds of dough. And then these are big rotational ovens. So as you can see, it rotates to make sure all of our baked goods are evenly baked.
Not all school districts have a kitchen this big. And of course, each school is fighting over funds for all this stuff, applying for grants to get the gear they need. Something I found fascinating about school lunches is that many of the American food brands have their own specific lines just for kids. They offer many of the same products, just a healthier version.
Tyson is a really big one. They have a whole line of products that's just for schools. Same with like General Mills. So a lot of those brands that you might see in the grocery store, they will have a separate school line that's formulated specifically for schools. Whether that's whole grain, reduced sodium, reduced sugar, baked, like baked Doritos. You don't really see those in the supermarket, but we serve those in school.
I think of how picky kids can be and wonder how down they are with the flavor of a healthy Dorito. Doritos aren't even meant to be healthy. Is a healthy Dorito still even a Dorito? What's a common complaint you might get?
Well, the kids, they always want more of like the snack items. They want Takis and ice cream. Takis?
What's a Taki?
Taki, they're like the little rolled chips. Yeah, they're a type of chip that kids love. We do try to make some of their favorites more healthy, like our pizza, for example. They love it, but it's made with whole grain crust. We make our own pizza sauce. We even grate our own cheese. It's low-fat mozzarella. So we try to just make it healthier. Same with like chicken nuggets. We still serve those, but it's just whole grain breading and not fried.
With all this talk of health, I'm surprised when I pass a giant rack of corn dogs, hundreds of them. What is this? Disneyland?
That one, I believe, is a chicken hot dog inside. We try to pick items that are a little bit healthier, like we use hot dogs. They're all beef, no nitrates.
Kate leads me through another door, and we're in a sprawling warehouse space filled to the roof with boxes and cartons and packages. We're in the pantry. What have we got here?
These are some chocolate chips. So one of our most popular items on the breakfast menu is our double chocolate chip muffin, which sounds unhealthy, but we put banana puree in it, we put applesauce, and again, it has no preservatives. It's made with whole grain flour.
Do you put pineapple on your pizza or no?
We don't, but we usually have that like on our salad bars.
I see giant crates of Cheez-Its. I don't know much about America, but I know Cheez-Its aren't the epitome of health.
This is whole grain, so it's specially formulated for schools.
There's even Cinnamon Toast Crunch back here.
This is specially formulated for schools. It's reduced sugar and whole grain.
As we emerge out the other side and into the sunlight, I wonder why they don't serve the kids' version of all these American products to the rest of America. There'd probably be less heart attacks. But look, lunch is drawing near, and we have a high school cafeteria to get to. We jump in Kate's car.
This little pocket of California used to be a really big retirement community. And so now it's just kind of a mix. You can see we have lots of different trailer parks. So as far as our population goes, we do have a high low income status in Hemet. And as far as our ethnicity of the community goes, we're about, I believe, 40% Hispanic. So we are going to be going to West Valley. There's about 2,000 students there.
So this is a high school.
Yes, so grades 9 through 12.
And what age is that?
So roughly 14, 15 through 18.
In New Zealand, we call this secondary school. Where we don't have grades, we have years. So it'll be year 9 through 13 for us. As we pull into the parking lot, my brain is replaying what I know of high school cafeterias, all learned from watching American TV.
Who says that school cafeteria food can't be healthy, delicious, and gourmet? Today we're going to be making the students my tasty baked ziti with basil and fresh mozzarella.
South Park's up there with Chef. Then there's Napoleon Dynamite.
I see you're drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat?
And Mean Girls, which taught us about the various cliques found in the American school system.
You got everybody there. You got your freshmen, ROTC guys, preps, JV jocks, Asian nerds, cool Asians, varsity jocks, unfriendly black hotties, girls who eat their feelings, girls who don't eat anything.
Now I'm finally here, the real thing. A real American high school with a real American high school name. West Valley. Wow. Walking down the hallway, it's just before lunch, so it's quiet. And already it feels like a TV show. There's the lockers, the posters for class president, and all the social clubs you can join. And there it is, in front of me, radiant. The high school cafeteria. Are you getting flashbacks, Monica, so far?
I'm so nostalgic right now.
You got very nervous when she raised the cardboard tray that they were trying out in their school. Because that could buckle.
Exactly.
Couldn't it?
It could.
Social suicide.
Exactly. Even though I'm for sustainability.
Yeah, but is it going to
But is it
going to
kill
ruin your...
some kids? It might.
Yeah.
Might lose some kids to that.
I was blown away by the size of the kitchen. They were making 22,000 meals a day. It was crazy. Wow. Giant thing to feed all these little bellies.
Who knew when I started talking today about my cholesterol that it would tie in to this whole episode?
Yeah, I think you need to be eating some of these school-made branded things where it's like the same thing, but just a bit more healthy.
Healthier. I agree with you that I really don't understand why they wouldn't sell this stuff or just make all the food like that.
Totally. I guess it's two markets. They can just have both markets cornered.
But what's funny is they know one thing is healthy and or healthier.
Totally.
And they know the other isn't, and they're choosing to still put out the unhealthy stuff. It's so fascinating.
Did you find out how much is Hemet the norm across the country? Like, is that how most school districts are set up, or is
It's some
California?
are, some aren't. I can't be more specific. They're all competing so heavily for funding, desperately trying to like keep their meals good so they get more money next year. But yeah, there are definitely other giant kitchens like this across the United States, but definitely not all schools have a system that's that epic.
I must have been living under, I was so naive, but I thought each cafeteria made its own food. I thought there was a kitchen in every school.
I assume so as well, and it'll be out there doing their thing. And some schools would. Like some schools would do that. But this is serving, I think she said in the end, 27 schools.
Well, or they're just heating it up. Because there was a kitchen at our cafeteria, but
Maybe
they
they're
probably
just
weren't
heating.
preparing
Oh, they've
it
definitely
all.
got, there's a background area where they can keep it warm and stuff and bring it out.
Yeah, I guess I just thought they were cooking it all back there, which is
a lot of work.
so stupid.
She sent me through some stats. She said for every meal they serve, they get $4.92 reimbursement. That's from federal and state taxes. 48% of that goes towards labor, 47% towards food supply and costs, and the remaining 5% goes to the building utilities. So essentially, for food and packaging, we need to make a complete meal. That's entree, fruit and vegetables, plus milk, plus packaging for $2.32.
Wow.
So they're under the gun to like make these meals for kids with not very much.
Oh.
Which is kind of miraculous what they come out with.
It is. And they're trying to keep it healthy. This is hard.
Yeah, it's a balance. And she did say the richer schools do opt out of this program entirely. If parents are going to pay more for fees, then some schools, they will have their own system outside of the guidelines serving whatever they want.
Oh, really?
But that costs a lot more money.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Flightless Bird is brought to you by Helix Sleep. Now, sleep is important, probably one of the most important things, and I'm very glad I have a Helix mattress. A mattress is one of the first things I got when I moved to America. I've been sleeping on a Helix for about 1.5 years now, and I love it. Apart from my 3 a.m. ghost that always says hello, I sleep great. And I also fit in some pretty great naps as well. My mattress is tailored for me. If you want to know what Helix mattress works best for you and your body, you take the Helix Sleep Quiz and you find the perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, and your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. That's why they offer a 100-night free trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new mattress. I took the Helix Sleep Quiz and was matched with a Helix Twilight Luxe mattress because I wanted something that felt firm, and I sleep on my side all night. I travel a lot for work, and I always like returning to my Helix mattress, which is a real upgrade from what I used to sleep on. The setup's fast and easy. The mattresses are delivered in a box straight to your door for free. Plus, they all come with that 10 to 15-year warranty depending on the model. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Just go to helixsleep.com/bird. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
So yeah, let's enter the school cafeteria.
Okay.
We've got to get ready fast because once the doors open, we get 400 kids through all at once.
I'm talking to Debbie, official job title NSA 2, Nutrition Service Assistant 2, like the assistant manager. She's been at this high school cafeteria from 6 a.m. They've done breakfast already, and it's about to be lunch. In New Zealand, it's well known that high school students, these are high school students, is that the right term? Very smelly. They're not wearing deodorant, it's the smell. What's the smell like when they all come through those doors?
Honestly, I think it's the opposite. I get a lot of cologne. When masks came off, I was like, oh, wow, that's strong.
And what are you serving up today? What's on the menu?
Today we have chicken nuggets and we have a penne pasta with meat sauce.
Sounds delicious. Do you serve any sauce with your nugs?
We have, yes, we have ketchup, ranch, barbecue sauce.
Sweet and sour?
No, sorry.
It's an improvement maybe for next time. On the wall, there's a painting of a Mustang, the school mascot, and framed sports singlets hang on the wall too. Then there's a line of serving trays, manned by 3 staff members ready to dish up the goods. It all feels like a Hollywood set to me, but I have to remember, this isn't a TV show, it's real life. And then, just like that, the doors explode with smelly high school students. They grab their entree, chicken nuggets, before dividing into 2 lines to get their fruit and veggies. Today it's free chip day, hot Cheetos, which helps get them in the door. I position myself next to Leslie, who's at the end of the lunch line.
My job is to watch the kids coming through and putting their lunch numbers in, make sure they have their whole meal. They have to have the main entree, fruits and vegetables and everything, and make it a meal.
You're really making sure they've got the right stuff.
And not taking extras or anything. Yep.
Do kids ever try and slip some extra chips into a hoodie?
Every time. Every time.
So you've got eagle eyes down here.
Oh yeah, we have to watch the line, we have to watch the computer. Yeah, we have to really watch everything. Yep. Thank you, love.
Leslie is watching like a hawk, watching for thieves, and also listening for any foul language.
Oh, watch the mouth, Zachary! Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yep, you're welcome, hon.
You get to know the kids as well, right?
And I work at other schools, so I get to watch them grow up and come here. Yeah, I've been here 29 years, so I get to watch them come from the elementary school all the way up to here. Because I work at one of the elementary schools that a lot of them went to. Thank you, love. Yep.
That's pretty special.
Oh, yeah, it is. Hi, sweetheart. How are you today? You don't want a juice today? All right, love.
This lunch line is moving fast, and it's at this point I notice that there's no indoor seating here. This is the first departure from the movies for me. Apparently, because we're in California and it's mostly always sunny, the kids eat outside, just like kids do in New Zealand. I say goodbye to the school cafeteria staff. I saw one trying to sneak some chips into a pocket, but they got called out.
Yes, we will do that. We will call them out.
And head out to meet some American high school students.
And today we are trying out for Spirit Commissioners. We got a little game for you guys.
Little musical chairs. So we need 11 people to come down and fill up these chairs.
This American high school appears to be much louder than the New Zealand high school. There's a bunch of students DJing for one thing. That doesn't happen in New Zealand. And a rowdy game of musical chairs is going down. I notice the kids are wearing the sorts of clothes I was wearing in the 90s. Things are very baggy and there are a lot of hoodies. I see a goth kid, which makes me very happy as I thought all the goths had gone. I head over to a table where every kid is huddled around a Nintendo Switch.
I like it here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm actually the president of the Gamers Club, and it's pretty cool. That's why we're playing this Smash right now.
Explains why literally all of you have a Switch, pretty much.
Yeah. This is like the gamer table, honestly. It's pretty cool.
I head to another table, which has 0 switches. These kids aren't gamers. I'm not sure what they are, but they seem nice. And what's the quality of the food like here?
I mean, it's okay.
What have you got today? Take me through this.
I got a little PB&J sandwich, Cheez-Its, chocolate milk, and apple juice.
The girl next to me appears to be ignoring her lunch entirely. You've got an entire tray of chicken nugs in front of you, and they don't look eaten. Is there a problem?
You want to try one?
All I've wanted is a chicken nug all day. Do you mind? I take a nugget, dip it hesitantly in some sauce, and take a bite. A wee nibble. It's no McDonald's nugget, but it's better than nothing. It's okay. It's all right. Oh.
What's wrong?
Bro, those taste fake. Those taste fake. Every lunch, the food is so terrible, bro. Thank you, what's her name? Michelle Obama or something like that? Yeah, Michelle Obama. Yeah, thank you. Hey, thank you, Michelle Obama. Thank you so much.
I guess Michelle Obama really did make an impact with that Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. Since then, about 75% of schools in the US have signed up for the National School Lunch Program. Some private, richer schools don't opt in, so they can serve whatever they want. No health guidelines for them, but also no government funding for their food.
Thank you for the random slabs of meat. They're really hidden.
It's funny, because as the kids insult the food, Kate is standing with me. They have no idea she's in charge of all this. I feel kind of bad. I mean, of course the kids aren't going to shower compliments on their high school lunch. They probably want McDonald's. Most of them anyway. Are you enjoying it?
I do. I am enjoying it, actually. It is pretty good.
I'd come to talk lunch, but I found myself wondering what these kids thought of the high school experience here in the US of A. What's high school like in America?
I mean, I like it, but there's a lot of procedures. Kind of we have metal detectors when we walk in. We have occasional lockdown drills. because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in America high schools.
It could probably be better, but I think anything could be better. There's always room for improvement. But yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly just like vibing. I'm living my best life. I don't know. I try to see the up, because seeing the downs is not always a good idea for me, because I know I can get into like a loop of very bad thoughts.
So first off, we're gonna start with the teachers. The teachers, the teachers, they're crazy.
All of these tables around me have a very different vibe. This one in particular is full of born performers.
They're gangbangers, bro. I'll tell you, everywhere I go, there's a gangbanger, bro. I can't do nothing. Oh, no, I'm joking.
The chicken nuggets forgotten as they talk to this old man from New Zealand.
You know, everywhere I go, there's these good-looking females everywhere I go. So I try to holler. I get rejected every time. But it is what it is. Oh,
is this guy your friend?
I mean, I know him. Like,
as we talked about the high school experience, I wondered what they thought of America, this country they were here readying themselves for, readying themselves to go out and work and make change and do whatever they end up doing.
It's kind of troubled.
I'm unsure. But like at the same time, I'm excited for like life in general, just to like be positive.
I think half of us are doing okay, but half of the kids here don't want to do anything. Therefore, I'm worried about half of this future for us.
I made this observation a couple of days ago. I was talking with my dad. The kids who actually want to try are placed into college classes, but they're not really prepared for the college level, for the work that it entails. And the kids that don't want to try are just put into normal classes where they can just fail and it wouldn't really matter. And I found it very unfair that I wanted to try, but I wasn't prepared.
I'm a little bit skeptical. In this economy, I can barely hold my own house if I wanted to, so I don't know. I'm skeptical about the future of America. It's definitely not amazing, but it's not bad, so it's just kind of like hanging out and see what happens.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I look up from my tray of borrowed chicken nugs. They are growing on me, and I see a student carrying a pink sign that I recognized from the corridor when I walked in. Maddie for president. I guess this is Maddie. And I see you're campaigning for president. I assume you're Maddie?
Sophomore class president.
What are you campaigning on? What are your policies?
My goal is just to make next year really fun and memorable for everyone, because I know this year there was a fire here in town, so a lot of things got canceled and pushed back. So I want next year to be really fun for everyone and like include everyone. If they have an opinion, then I could speak to the actual ASB president about it and maybe get it approved.
And who's your big competition so far in the race?
Definitely Angie or Jalissa.
Good luck with the campaign. I hope you sweep in with a victory. With lunchtime about to wrap, a few other kids have gathered around the microphone, and I figure this is the time to raise the question that's been on my mind this entire time. A question about the modern high school experience here in America. My only reference to like American high school recently has been that HBO show Euphoria. How similar is the experience to Euphoria?
Not at all.
Not even close.
Is that inaccurate?
No, it's so inaccurate. It's so bad. That's so funny.
Probably depends on who you're asking. For me, it's not accurate at all. But I know there's like some friends who like smoke and stuff, or like some friends who drink. Yeah, and I also know that there's other people who've definitely screwed around with other people, but I wouldn't say it's like Euphoria.
I have never experienced anything like this show, and I don't think that's like the actual high school experience. I'm sorry.
I do think that there is a lot of drug issues in school, but it's not to that level, not to that extent, in my opinion.
Okay.
I've seen people do drugs in class. I just haven't seen people do cocaine or yeah.
I was kind of relieved that these kids weren't living the full Euphoria life. Indeed, it was the opposite. The teenagers of America, not that different to the teenagers of New Zealand. Some kids I talked to even packed their own lunch to bring in, kindly stockpiling the school-supplied snacks for their friends later that day. You've got so many apples. You've got about 10 apples here. What's going on?
Yeah, I always ask my friends for apples because I like to give my apples to some of my friends in chemistry because they're always hungry by then, and also just because I like the apples.
With an attitude like that, I figure the future of America is in pretty good hands. And as I drove away from Hemet, I thought back to all the apples my mum Pam had packed into my high school lunch back in New Zealand. With no high school cafeteria, it was all on her. And it dawned on me how many school lunches my mum had made for me over the years. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands of them. So I decided to call her. FaceTiming, my dad picked up, trying to put the call on speaker. Hello, is this working?
Hello, I'm trying to, David. Are you there?
Technology figured out he got mum. Now, I had a question.
Yes.
I'm making a podcast episode at the moment about high school cafeterias in America. But then it occurred to me, of course, in New Zealand, certainly when I went to school, we didn't have that. And I was mainly fed thanks to years and years and years of my poor mother having to making my lunch for me.
I know.
I've never really talked to you about that. And first I want to say thank you, which I don't think I've ever really said, because it's sort of dawning on to me on what a massive task that was.
I know, and it's so good when it finishes. But it's just something that you had to do. It was often hard to know for a bit of variety what to put in your jolly sandwiches.
I remember peanut butter and jam was a good one.
Yeah, peanut butter and jam, ham.
I might do some maths and calculate how many years I was at school and how many meals you would have made me.
You could calculate it from 5 years to 17, something like that, 17 years. No, it was just something that all families did, David, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for doing it.
I've never given it another thought. Okay,
said my mum, who for over a decade served as a one-person high school cafeteria for me and my brother. Okay is a classic line from Pam when trying to wrap up a conversation, sick of talking to me, sick of me rambling on. It's a bit of a Kiwi thing, I think, the okay, and I react accordingly. No, thanks, Mum. No, you were very good. Thanks for that. Okay, there it was again. Okay. I get it, Mum. I'm going. I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up on her, and I'm hanging up on this audio documentary. Okay? School lunches.
Oh, that was really, really, really fun.
Aren't the kids pure?
Oh, I love the kids. Also, when you started talking to them, I got sweaty. I felt so cringy.
Yeah. At my interactions?
You.
So I was struggling, right?
I think you got better over time, but those early ones, I felt like, why are you acting so uncomfy?
Yeah, it made me nervous. I was afraid they would see me as a nerd and beat me up. I just reverted back. And then I was trying to be cool, but that failed and it just got worse and worse. And I did get into it a bit more.
Yeah,
I was stressed.
It did feel like you became one of them because you tried to neg that girl about her apples. That felt weird.
Yeah, the balance is weird because it's like a different species. It's the first time I'd clocked in ages how old I've gotten.
Yeah.
I turned 40 last year. In my mind, I kind of stopped at like early 20s maybe.
Sure, yeah.
And suddenly being around kids everywhere. And there was a DJ DJing loudly and it was just so hectic. It made me feel so fucking old.
That part about the DJ, we did not have music in the lunchroom.
I think there was some special thing going on. There was Spirit Week.
Oh, sure, because leading up to the election.
And so they had some DJs and I sound like an alien describing what I saw. There's DJs and it's this musical chairs game. I think maybe the DJs were trying to be some sort of social presidents or something. Wear like this, I don't know.
Fun.
Or it was a campaign promise. I'm going to bring DJs to lunch.
Yeah, and speaking of wonderful Maddie, her campaign promise of just wanting to make things more fun, isn't that, I can get behind that. That was so good. Like, who doesn't want to have more fun?
One other piece in America, normally, your mom stops making your lunch at some point. You have to make your own lunch. You have to pack your own lunch.
She's still making it.
It's part of growing up.
Yeah.
At some point, your mom says, if you want to take your own lunch, you better pack
make it yourself.
With that known, my mom still made my lunch.
Our mums are very
way
similar.
Too long.
Yeah, same. I was cared for way too much.
Like coddled. She drew the line at one point and said, do your own. So I did.
You're 25. Get your own lunch.
She still makes my lunch when I go home. She still makes my sandwiches.
No, same. Yeah, the last time I was in New Zealand, I go back to visit them, and Mum still makes the same sandwiches and cuts them up and like serves them to me.
Yes,
She's still making my school lunch.
I know, it's so cute. But she stopped. She said, make your own. But then I think she realized I wasn't doing it, and she took it back on.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. Incredible. The other thing I should say at our lunches at school, we did have, they called them tuck shops, essentially like a small corner store. If I didn't take a packed lunch from home, my lunch would be a meat and cheese pie, which you've had.
Oh, yeah.
That would be like $2.50. A cookie time, which is a big chocolate biscuit.
It's called cookie time?
Cookie time.
Oh, my God.
I'll have one mince and cheese pie. I'll have a cookie time and please microwave it for 30 seconds.
Is that a brand, Cookie Time?
Cookie time.
That's a brand, though?
Yeah, it's a brand.
Oh, it's a brand. It's a type of cookie.
Oh, I wouldn't say cookie time. Oh, no, no.
It's cookie time for David.
That's what it sounds
No, it's a brand.
Oh, okay.
And I'll get it microwaved for 30 seconds, and that would make the bits of chocolate a little bit melted.
Sure.
Yum, yum. And I would get a bottle of Coca-Cola. And that would be some days my school lunch.
That sounds delicious. What did your mom pack you? Well, she packed you ham and cheese.
Yeah, ham and cheese. There'd be a sandwich. There'd be an apple. There'd be a couple of bits of fruit. What were those snacks called? Roll-ups?
Oh, fruit roll-ups.
Yeah, fruit roll-ups.
Yep.
And another like a little thing, you peel it back, and there'd be a cracker with some dip, like all in the little case.
Yes.
Dunkaroos?
Well, that's chocolate, but they had the cheese ones, remember? And peanut butter.
Yeah.
For me, what was packed was critical because if you had something stinky, you're out. It's
You're
like
done.
the tray. You're done. So you have
like
to be
some fish. You're the kid that brings fish or some eggs,
Tuna.
a boiled egg.
Tuna. I think my mom made that mistake because I love tuna, but you're not allowed to love tuna when you're young. It's so stinky. And
Disgusting.
so my mom didn't know the rules that you can only like tuna at your house when nobody's there. And she would pack me tuna sandwiches at one point, and I had to like throw them away or look at it and then put it back, not open it.
Not open it?
Yep.
Anger, other kids.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they're going to tear you apart.
Tear me apart. So then I got into Lunchables. That seemed very classic.
What? You don't know Lunchables?
No, what are you talking about?
Oh my God, Lunchables. You could do a whole episode on Lunchables, honestly.
Okay, what is a Lunchable?
It's packaged and you have crackers, cheese, meat. There's a little compartment for the stacked cheese, a little compartment
Is it like
for
what
the
you
meat.
get on a Delta flight sometimes when you're flying and they bring you a cheese platter or something? You pay $10 for this.
Kind of, but
Is
it's
it a bit like that?
less quality is
It's a bit
not,
dicier?
Yes.
Okay.
But they invented a Lunchables pizza at one point, and it was these tiny doughs. Like, what is that?
It was
Like a crust,
it was
but
a
not
crust,
really.
but it was chewy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like
And then
chewy crust.
and then you'd have a pouch of sauce that
Yes.
you put on.
And shredded cheese.
And then
so you make your
and
own
pepperoni.
pizza?
If I never did pepperoni, I only did cheese because pepperoni could get. Girls weren't supposed to like pepperoni.
They had the dessert ones too, with chocolate icing and M&Ms.
Oh, a pizza?
Yeah, they had pizza dessert.
I don't think I had that, but I had Dunkaroos. First time I ever choked. So,
God, first time.
but the Lunchables pizza in middle school, we had a microwave. So I would microwave the Lunchables pizzas at the school. I'm surprised I even did that. That seems outside my comfort zone, but I did.
Where do you get Lunchables
Grocery
from?
store.
From a grocery
7-Eleven
store.
has some.
Wow, I'm fascinated by this. I'd never heard of this
I can't believe
before.
you haven't heard of it. It's huge here. I wonder if people still take Lunchables.
The culture of school is so funny to me. The other thing I noticed walking around is that, of course, in America, you have lockers. And
Yes.
in New Zealand, at least when I went to school, there were no lockers. Everything went in your school bag.
All your books
And
for the whole
Everything.
day.
So you'd prep each morning, you'd take everything you need, and you would just have these little kids you'd see wandering around with just these huge
Exactly.
backpacks.
Yeah.
No lockers. Like, that's a huge difference.
That
and then this whole
is.
cafeteria thing, DJs, we had vastly different experiences in our school, Monica.
I know. It's really interesting. Lockers, I will say, are more romanticized in movies
Okay.
and TV shows.
Because they're so big and kids open them and they lean on them and they're full of photos of who they've got a crush on
Yeah.
and their books and stuff.
And people get shoved into them.
You put the
and
nerds in the
stuff.
lockers and you lock them in there.
And I mean, I think things are regional and cultural.
Hmm.
So it all depends. My high school was constructed a little differently than most high schools. It was kind of laid out as like college campus. So we had 5 buildings. And so what sucked is if your locker was in the 200 building, you'd have a class in the 500 building, then you have to walk to the 100 building. You don't have time to stop by your locker.
That sounds so big, like so vast.
It was. And you had 7-minute changes. And so you were like rushing around and you didn't really have time to ever go to your locker. So we also just carried our whole these insanely heavy books for the whole day. You're just walking around with.
Bad for the spine.
Really
It's probably why my spine is so messed up from those big buddy book bags.
It is. You could sue. American suing.
JanSport was the cool bag of choice. We talked about this before. JanSport. That was awesome. The other main difference that I clocked that I hadn't really thought about, in New Zealand, most schools have a uniform. So everyone looks like a student. And I think that's partly what I found so intimidating with these kids is they were all dressed
cool.
Yeah. And that's what made me a bit nervous and like so on edge. The idea of a uniform is that all the kids are the same. So the fashionable kids, the nerdy kids, no one's going to get teased for like not having the cool shoes because you're all in the same shitty uniform.
Yeah.
Because in New Zealand, uniforms are also really, really expensive. So it's kind of like taking the mickey in a way. And some parents are like, we're sick of spending so much money on these shitty clothes.
Right, that they can't wear otherwise.
Yeah,
only
completely, only at school. So in America, uniforms aren't really a thing,
They
right?
are. Private schools will do it.
Catholic schools,
Catholic
maybe?
schools definitely do it.
Yeah.
So some schools, but mostly and definitely public schools, no. But there was dress code.
The big thing I remember from my school was girls had to have their skirts a certain length. They couldn't be showing too much.
Fingertips. That was ours. Can't be shorter than your fingertips. People would like scrunch up their shoulders though to make it.
Oh, that's
get people with like really long legs. Bodies are different. I feel like that's not a universal measurement.
I agree.
The other thing that I really glossed over is that Hemet, where I was, when I went to that Starbucks, I bumped into someone that listens to the show, and she was like really lovely. But she said, "Are you here for Scientology?" I'm like, I'm doing a story about school lunches, and I'm going to go to high school. And she said, "Oh, the Gold Base is here." And I'm like, "What?" And the Gold Base is essentially the headquarters of Scientology.
No.
And it is the compound. So here in LA, you've got the Celebrity Center and you've got that big iconic blue building.
Yes.
Gold Base is the one which all the mystery surrounds it. And I just lifted a few facts off the Wikipedia page. It's a heavily guarded compound, 50 buildings surrounded by high fences topped with blades and watched around the clock by patrols, cameras, and motion detectors. Scientology leader David Miscavige, senior church officials, and up to 1,000 of the church's elite Sea Org live and work on the base. It's the location of a $10 million mansion built for L. Ron Hubbard. And that's where they have that famous thing that they talk about, the hole, which is that facility where they basically put members to retrain them. Yeah, and so I drove past, and it's a public road that goes past, but you drive by, and suddenly you just see these big, quite like, it's almost like you're driving past a theme park. There's this thing that looks a bit like a castle.
Oh.
There's razor wire all along the top.
Wow.
And I drove into one of the big main entrances, and I looked up, and there was camera. And the security guard absolutely looked at me. And because he'd get used to people pulling in all the time.
Yeah.
Locked eyes made like a look that felt like, I see you. Because I was originally thinking, well, I go up and like say hello and say like, what is this?
Yes.
And I was like, It's like I just drove around and like turned back.
Oh, it was too creepy.
It was full noise.
Oh.
And it's in Hemet. And Hemet is, as you heard, it's just this sleepy, small town, a lot of trailer parks, and the headquarters of Scientology.
Oh, you know what actually makes me so angry? Of course it's there. If that is a low-income area, they are preying upon vulnerable people and saying, I can get you out of this situation. Come to Scientology. That is what they do. That's why the Celebrity Center is right there.
Always, recruiting people.
Exactly.
Who
It
are
says
like trying to figure it out.
Trying to get the most vulnerable people in this city who are dying to become actors are like, yeah, I want to be sad.
Get drawn in. Yeah, if you want to go down a real rabbit hole, Google Gold Base, and there's just the maddest things ever. And so, yeah, it's so funny. I thought I'm in this town doing a story about school lunches, and there is Gold Base sitting right there.
Are they trying to recruit at the high school?
No recruiting. I think it's more like where all their biggest, most important members go. You look at it in Google Maps, and it's this sprawling, beautiful country club in the middle of this really poor neighborhood. You know, it's not that far out of LA, and it's probably cheap to buy, and it's just huge and massive and epic.
Wow.
Anyway, I breezed
That's
over
a
that in the
weird
doc,
thing.
and it was just so strange that it was there.
Well, this was really fun. I love high school and middle school. I love school. I have such nostalgia for it.
I think we all do. It's why whenever Netflix puts out some show at a high school, it does really well because we all love watching it.
And everyone can relate.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Here's to the high school lunch.
Yes.
Muffins, cookies, pizzas,
cookie time,
chicken nugs,
Cookie time.
times. I'll bring, so when I go back to New Zealand, I'll bring you back some cookie times.
Oh, wait, is it cookie times?
Cookie time. I'm going to bring you back multiple cookie times. A cookie time cookie is the one cookie.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring you back some cookie times.
Okay. Got it. Can't wait. Bye.